All right, folks, good evening. I've gotten the green light that everything's talking to everything else. So we should be live. We should be streaming through Facebook. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us tonight. My name is Alex. I'm with the Washington Poison Center. I am joined by Emily with the city of Bothell, and we are here to talk to you about spring cleaning. So, Emily, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. How about you?
Doing fine. I love that the sun is out. It's such a rarity in Western Washington, it feels. All right, so for us, spring cleaning can mean a whole lot of things. For me, it means my apartment has been in desperate need of a purge, both to do a deep dive and to do a good deep scrubbing of stuff, as well as to get rid of stuff I haven't used in way too long. That means I'm going to brush up against a whole lot of cleaning products, as well as potentially find some old medications I don't need anymore. So we're going to talk a bit about that. But before we dive into all that, Emily, I want to ask you, working with the city of Bothell, what are some common questions that Bothell is receiving and having regarding spring cleaning?
Yeah, over the past few months, I've been getting a lot of community questions about what people should look for if they're wanting to switch over to cleaning products that are safer for the environment or for their kids and pets. And then I would say with a lot of people taking on spring cleaning right now, one of the other top questions I'm hearing is about how to safely dispose of medicine.
Excellent. So we will definitely address those questions and more in our talk today. A little bit of housekeeping stuff. If you have any questions as you're watching the stream, feel free to add those to the comment section in the Facebook event. We should be able to see them. And if you have any questions after the stream ends, not a problem. Feel free to go ahead and comment that. Comment on that comment section, and we'll do our best to follow up with you, share resources, and answer the questions as best we can. All right, so to answer these questions, we've got two fabulous folks, two experts joining us today. You may have seen them before in past streams. We've got Trent, who is a C-Spy with the Poison Center. That means he's a certified specialist in poison information. How you doing tonight, Trent?
Doing well, Alex. How about yourself?
Good. I'm doing fine. Thanks for joining us. We are also joined by Julia, who's with the Hazardous Waste Management Program with King County. Julia, how about you? How you doing?
Doing great. You can see the sun shining in behind me. So yes, yay.
Wonderful. All right. So let's start with some safe disposal discussion. So I'm going to start with you, Julia, and I'll ping it to you, and you can talk about how and where to dispose of hazardous products.
Well, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here with you tonight. And I do want to talk about how do you get rid of hazardous products? And I guess the first question would then be, what is a hazardous product? A hazardous product is something that can harm you, and to get rid of it, you're actually not supposed to throw it in the trash. And I want to show you some words that will show you how to tell. So I'll be using our website tonight a lot as a teaching tool. That's what you're seeing here. This is our homepage. We are talking about folks in their household. So I'm going to click on household and just scroll down. It's going to say safer home products. And then we bring up this really cool infographic. And the reason this is here is because it shows you 4 simple words that let you know if a product is hazardous, and in this case, shouldn't be disposed of in the trash. And you can see over here on this side, a super frowny, unhappy face, which is letting us know that if you see the words danger or poison on a product, that means it is super hazardous, highly, highly harmful. If you see the words caution or warning, you can see this little kind of meh face. It means the product is still somewhat hazardous if you have caution or warning. And we'll talk about these other products later in the show tonight. But so if you are wanting to do spring cleaning, and as Alex said, you are stumbling across a number of products, if you see danger, poison, caution, or warning, that product is hazardous. And let me show you how to get rid of it. You'll just go back to our homepage, just one click, and scroll down, and you will see this neat map that shows 4 different places in King County that are open all year round, where you can take your products and dispose of them. And there is no fee to use this service. We also have this really neat service called the Waste Mobile, which is a traveling hazardous waste site in a way. Is we travel to communities and we gather hazardous products from those communities. So you click right here, and in this case, you can see a picture. What happens is you drive up in your car, and one of our staff will get out and take your hazardous products from you. And if you want to know when we're coming, you just scroll on down to our schedule, and you can see that we are going to be in the Bothell area this weekend for 3 days. And I just want to let you know, we actually do come back to Bothell several more times. So if this weekend is not convenient for you, then you can scroll through, see we come to Bothell in June. If you don't live in Bothell, keep scrolling until you find your community, and you'll find when we will be there with you. So that is how to identify a product. Look for danger, poison, caution, or warning. You can't throw it away in the trash, or you shouldn't. And please bring those items to either a waste mobile or one of the other sites that I showed you, and we will dispose of them properly for you for free. So thank you, Alex. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much for walking us through that. I also love that it's called the Waste Mobile. Take that, Batman. Batmobile's got nothing on the Waste Mobile. All right. So now we're going to talk a little, after Julie has walked us through that, she walked us through how to identify those signal words on different products. We're going to talk a little bit about some Washington Poison Center data that's pretty recent, actually, which is pretty cool. So for the Poison Center, for those who don't know, I hope you know who we are and what we do. But we hear from folks about all sorts of things. So in regards to cleaning, folks might have an accident with a cleaning product. They may be using them incorrectly, or they may experience some sort of harm attached to that cleaning product. Now, how do we hear about this? We hear about it through our Poison Helpline. Now that number is 1-800-222-1222. You can call that literally anytime. You can call us at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. Someone's going to answer. You can call right now. It won't be Trent or me answering right now. It'll never be me answering. That's not my job. But someone will answer. Now, Trent, thank you for joining us again. Can you tell us a little bit about your role in the Poison Center?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So my job title is Pharmacist C-Spy, and I'm one of the folks who answers the phone when you call the Poison Center. Those of us who are there to answer the phone are nurses, pharmacists, and poison information providers, and we all have special training to assist the folks who call us for help. There's always somebody there on the phones happy to answer any questions with potential emergencies, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Excellent. Thank you. And I should say also, you can absolutely call the Poison Center to get information. It doesn't have to be a potential poison emergency. You can call us to prevent a potential poison emergency as well. So let's talk about what we've seen with cleaning products this past year. So we're going to have Trent share a little bit of data on household cleaning product exposures, specifically in King County. Now, before we take too deep of a dive into this data as it's loading, Trent, can you please define what we mean when we say exposure?
Yeah, of course. So the vast majority of the times that people call us, they're calling to discuss an exposure or a possible exposure. And we basically would define that as whenever someone has accidentally or intentionally misused or come into contact with a substance or chemical or really whatever that has either caused them or there's the concern that there's a potential to cause harm as a result of coming into contact.
All right, got it. Thank you. So what we're looking at here is a well now, I cannot speak today, folks. Thank you. Trent, what is this graph showing us? I'll let you describe it.
For sure, yeah. So each colored line on this graph represents a year, either 2019 in the orange, 2020 in the red, and then what we've seen so far of 2021 in the green there. And each dot on the line represents the number of exposures to household cleaning products in each month of the year. The data here is for King County exclusively. And as we can see here, and it might be kind of unsurprising, there was a significant increase in exposures to household cleaning products in the year 2020 compared to the same respective months in 2019, as shown by the graph there.
All right, thank you for that, Trent. Now, what substances do we include in this kind of broad category of household cleaners?
Yeah, quite a few would fall into that category. Some examples include all-purpose cleaners, drain openers, carpet cleaners, disinfectant wipes, window cleaners, basically anything that you can go and buy at the store with the purpose of cleaning something in your house.
All right, thank you. So what are some of the top reasons why folks are being exposed to these household products, household cleaners?
Yeah, so the number one reason that we get reported exposures is what we call unintentional general. And these are basically accidental exposures, typically in children 5 years old or younger, who may be exploring, don't know better than to put something in their mouth. Lots of children, for example, have been licking hand sanitizer lately, and I suspect that's probably because there's so much increased use in hand sanitizer over the past year. So that's an example of an unintentional general type of exposure. Kids are also taking interest in laundry pods. They've been doing that basically since the advent of that product. And it can also refer to cases in which children get into medications, pills, vitamin gummies, and melatonin are pretty common unintentional general exposures as well. The second most common type of exposure that we hear about is called unintentional misuse. That's how we categorize it. And that's basically any accidental exposure in an adult who is using a product and then there was some sort of mishap, such as maybe you're pouring out a cleaner and it splashes onto your hand or in your eye or in your mouth. Also describe situations like if you mislabeled something or if you poured something out into an unlabeled container. Say you poured out some hydrogen peroxide into an unlabeled cup, and then later on you mistake it for water and you take a few sips of it. Then you call us and let us know that you had an unintentional misuse exposure. You probably wouldn't say it in those exact words, but that's what we would call it.
We would be pretty impressed if you called us with that exact coding at the ready. You don't have to worry about that as the caller. We'll take care of that on our end. Now, Trent, I do want to ask, what of these products have been the most common? What have been called? What have we gotten the most calls on with these household cleaners?
Yeah, bleach exposures in particular are very common. So many people have bleach in the house. It's used for so many different things: disinfecting services, cleaning spills or stains, doing laundry. Lots of different reasons that folks are using it, and lots more opportunities because of that for an accident to happen. One thing that is unique about bleach in particular is that when it's mixed with certain other cleaners, it can actually sometimes release a gas that can be irritating or potentially even harmful. So folks are often calling about this. And it's often the case that the mixture that they made with bleach didn't actually release a gas, but sometimes when it's mixed with something like an acid, vinegar, for example, it can be an issue. And bleach is another one of those things that sometimes you pour out into an unlabeled container or a glass and you think that it's water later on, and then you take a sip, someone finds it. That type of thing happens all the time. So lots of exposures to bleach.
Gotcha. Thank you for walking us through that. There's so many ways in which this kind of thing can go wrong. Good general rule when it comes to cleaning is don't mix products. Just follow the directions as they're listed on the label, and don't mix them with other products. All right, so let's talk a little bit about safer cleaning. We talked about the ways cleaning can go wrong. Let's talk about how to clean safely. So hello again, Julia. Welcome back. I'll pitch it to you once more to talk a bit about safer cleaning.
Well, great. Well, thank you. We want to talk about safer cleaning tonight, and there really are two different ways that you can do safer cleaning. We found one way is that you can make your own using published recipes, and another way is you can go shopping and buy safer cleaners. So tonight I wanted to talk about both those things, and I wanted to talk to those of you, first of all, who might want to make your own safer cleaner. And you can do that using products that you probably, or not using products, but using items that you already have at home. And there you have a superstar cleaner at home that you might not even think of. It is safe enough, in fact, to eat. In fact, many of you have already eaten this cleaner many times in your life if you've had cookies or cake. And perhaps you've already guessed what I'm going to talk about. That safer cleaner, which is also a food item, is baking soda. It's a superstar cleaner. There's another ingredient that you can use to make your own cleaner that is also found in food. It's found in ketchups and pickles, and perhaps you would immediately know what that is. That is white vinegar, the cheapest white vinegar you can find. And then to give these two things a bit of a kick, you can use some sort of dish soap. And so what I'd like to do is to show you some recipes that we have back on our website. So if we can see our website again, we're on the home page. And again, I'll go up under households and click on that same link, Safer Home Products. There's our really important infographic. We're going to come back to that. But if you scroll right down underneath that, you can see 6 effective recipes for safer cleaning. And you'll notice that they all call for baking soda or vinegar and or dish soap. One of the ones that I like to use in particular is the drain cleaner or the drain opener. I have a nickname for it. I like to call it Volcano in a Drain Cleaner. So I'm not going to tell you why, but if you want to find out, go and practice this or try this later, and you'll see why we call it Volcano in a Drain. The other thing I do want to mention is that sometimes you don't even need to use a product or use a cleaning product at all. We try to encourage people to use tools if you can. So if you do have a clogged drain and the Volcano in a Drain cleaner didn't work, you could actually try a tool that some people call a zip-it. You can actually use it to remove whatever the clog is, and then you aren't exposing yourself to any sort of hazardous chemical at all. So that's in the make your own cleaner category. Now, what if you're the kind of person who's like, yeah, you know, I really don't care. I just want to go and buy something. I don't want to have to mix up things. Oh, and by the way, I definitely want to refer back to what Alex said. Please only use established recipes, published recipes, because you definitely do not want to start mixing your own recipes with other products just because of the chance of making a toxic gas accidentally. So look for printed recipes if you're going to make your own safer cleaners. Printed. Nobody prints anything. Look on the internet for something a safe source. Anyway, what I do want to talk about how we're going to use this neat little infographic to help us buy a safer cleaner. And let's just pretend for a minute that you have a problem. You're going to the store. Well, you have a problem, which is you want to clean your toilet and you don't want to mix your own. You want to buy your own. So you go to the store and you just glance at the shelf, and lo and behold, there are like at least 4, there's probably more than that, toilet bowl cleaners. And they all kind of look the same. They have that iconic neck. They cost about the same. They have these pretty colors to make you, I guess, really want to clean your toilet. But the question is, which one is safer to use and which one is more harmful? And I will tell you that one of these is so hazardous that if you get it into your eyes, it can cause permanent damage. So you might like to know how to figure out which one of these that is. And what we can do are use the words that are listed right here and use this actually as a shopping tool. So if you're going shopping and you see the words danger or poison on a product, you might think, do I really need to buy that one? And so I'm going to look on here and read the label. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. Of course, I know what it says. But this particular one does say danger, and it lists the hazard. In this case, it's corrosive, meaning it will eat away or dissolve many things, and unfortunately, including parts of your body, skin and eyes. This is considered to be a highly hazardous product. Good to know. You may want to buy it, but you may think, do I need to buy something so hazardous? You could even stick with the same company if you wanted. When you go and read this label, you might need reading glasses if you're like me, but you can see the word warning. And what that indicates is this is a somewhat harmful product. You can see when you go to the website, kind of a little, not kind of a little bit of a frown, that's not so good. But it's definitely safer than a product that says danger or poison. When you keep on reading, you might bump into a product like this one that does not say caution, warning, danger, or poison. So it's considered to be a safer product. it's not considered to be hazardous. I will say where you need to look is on the front of these products, because caution, warning, danger, and poison are required by law to be on any product that is harmful. The last thing I want to point out is that you can also look for these little eco logos, they're called. And I have an example of the EPA Safer Choice. Is, believe it or not, there is a toilet bowl cleaner that's considered to be a smiley, happy face, the safest in its group. It's considered to be safest, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency Safer Choice logo, safest for people, pets, and the environment. And they actually also test for, does it work? So if you're buying a safer product, you can be assured that it actually has been tested to see if it does the job or not. So I'm hoping to help break down the mystery of, you have a wad of cleaners, but you just want to buy one that's safer. I mean, you don't want to buy the hazardous one. How could you do it? Remember those 4 simple words: danger, poison, whoa, super hazardous, caution, warning, kind of hazardous, no signal words, this is safer. And then if you're lucky enough to find a Safer Choice logo or a cradle to cradle, that means that product is the safest in its class. So that's how we can use those signal words to buy safer products. The last thing I just wanted to bring up, since we're talking about cleaning and we've just been through a pandemic, or maybe we're not through, we're almost through. I wanted to let everybody know that the Centers for Disease Control recently came out with guidance or a suggestion for all of us that we don't need to be as concerned about cleaning surfaces as we thought we did last year. Last year, when this whole thing started, everybody was informed that you really needed to disinfect all the surfaces in your home all the time. That's what it seemed like the advice was. And as the pandemic has progressed, we've realized it's an airborne disease, and that disinfecting everything isn't really helping to stop a spread of COVID necessarily. So the Centers for Disease Control has come out with guidance. And I'm actually going to read it because I don't want to get it wrong. But what it does say is, in most situations, cleaning alone removes most virus particles on surfaces. So you don't have to be worried about disinfecting. And cleaning, which is removing dirt by physical action, is always the first step for disinfection. So the good news is you don't have to be as worried about disinfecting doorknobs, all the surfaces in your home anymore, unless somebody is sick in your home, or somebody who's been tested positive for COVID-19 has been in your home in the last 24 hours. So I think that's actually really good news for those of us who don't really want to clean all the time. Back to you, Alex.
All right. Thank you so much for walking through that. I love that it has the color coding and the different emojis attached. I think that's great. All right, Trent. So I'm going to pitch it to you now. What are some of your recommendations for safe cleaning?
Well, yeah, just a couple quick ideas on kind of how to prevent potential exposures when you're doing some cleaning around the house. Always a good idea to keep products in their original labeled container. I kind of alluded to transferring things to unlabeled containers or pouring them out in a glass for use later on earlier. So I would recommend just keeping everything in its original container, storing things up out high, out of reach of kids, out of sight. And another thing that you can do that we can provide you is put some Mr. Yuck stickers on there to indicate to your kids that these are not to be touched. They do not taste good. They're not good for you. You can always give us a call and let us know if you have a desire to get some Mr. Yuck stickers for your home. Other than that, don't mix anything, wear gloves, and just do exactly what the instructions on the product tell you to do.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Trent. Now, we know accidents still happen, even with the most cautious individuals possible. What should someone do if there is an accident?
Well, first of all, just give us a call as soon as it happens. Don't try to do anything too drastic before calling us. A lot of times people try to make themselves vomit if they accidentally got something in their mouth. Don't worry about that. If you got something in your eye, probably try to flush it out with some water. But other than that, we just want you to give us a call before you try anything significant, and we can walk you through it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, folks, we're about 5 minutes out from the end of this, so we're gonna move right along onto safe medicine disposal. So if you come across, as you're doing your deep spring cleaning, you come across medications you don't need anymore and need to know how to get rid of them, we'll show you how. So while we're getting this web page pulled up to show you, Trent, can you tell us why it's so important to get rid of unneeded medications?
Well, the biggest reason I would say is that it prevents you from accidentally taking the wrong medication. If you got a few prescription vials around, maybe you mistake your current medication for one that you're no longer taking. We don't want that to happen. So yeah, the best thing you can do is get rid of any medications that you're not taking, and the Take Back Your Meds program is a perfect resource for that. And it'll prevent you from taking the wrong medication. It'll prevent someone else from getting into your medication. And avoid any risk of harm as much as possible.
Excellent, thank you. Now this is the Take Back Your Meds website. You could just type it in the URL there or Google it and this will pop right up. The Poison Center actually operates this website. So what you can do, you can look at the map here to see these different locations throughout and sometimes beyond Washington. You can also scroll down a bit and just search for an area. I'll search for Bothell as we're hosting this through Bothell. And these 6 different locations pop up. We've got 5 pharmacies and 1 police department. Now, we very recently were able to get the website translated in a few different languages. So you can click this button up here to switch the website to Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, or Vietnamese. And there is that for you. All right. So, Trent, for these take back locations, what can folks take back?
Most anything. I mean, all of them should take prescription medications back or over-the-counter medications back, vitamins, supplements, even pet medications. I believe specifically the law enforcement locations; those would be a place to take back your controlled substance pain medications, for example. Anything that's scheduled substances would need to be taken back to law enforcement. But all sites should take prescription medications and over-the-counter products as well.
All right, thank you so much. Now, my last question for you, I've badgered you with a lot tonight. Now, I've heard of a lot of different methods for disposing of medications, flushing them down the toilet, just dumping them in the dumpster. Why is this the safest method for medication disposal?
Yeah, I mean, it's the safest because you don't really know what happens to it after you say crush medication, put it in the dumpster or in the garbage or whatever. Someone could get into it, person or an animal, and a lot of people try flushing their meds down the toilet too. That one's I don't like that idea either. It can get into the water, it can get into the soil, potentially be an environmental issue, affect the ecology and everything. The safest thing just for everybody would be to dispose of them properly. That way we don't put anyone else at risk.
Excellent, thank you. So to protect yourself, to protect your fellow human, and to protect nature, go ahead and use these safe medication disposal sites, folks. All right, well, we have, I think, 2 minutes to go. I think we're all gonna gather here again. It wouldn't be a Poison Center stream if I didn't hammer in the poison helpline over and over and over again. So one of your action items today is to put this in your phone, put it on your fridge, write it on any surface you have. So if you ever do need it, you've got it at the ready. Now, folks, if you have any questions for the time we're still here, please drop it in the comments section. If you have any questions after the feed ends, no problem. Go ahead and add that there. And now, Julia, before we fully log off, I do want to ask, would you like to mention the Hazardous Waste Helpline and what folks can call that for?
Well, thank you. Yes, I would. I was just trying to find it. It's on our website. It's a palindrome. It's 206-296-4692, and it's staffed. I think it's staffed 6 days a week, but it's certainly staffed 5 days a week with a live person who can answer all your questions. We have amazing staff, so give them a call.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I think we're right at 7:30 now. So unless there are any comments from anyone here, any questions in the feed, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all so much for joining tonight, letting me badger you with all the questions. And thank you all again for tuning in, whoever was able to tune in tonight. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thanks for having us.